and welcome to Tackle the Board. My name is Chris Exusion. You can find me at Chris Ebom on Twitter, and my co-host Russ Reese, the Vegas line reader. Russ, what is happening?
What's going on, man? Actually, last weekend was like a 2-2 split last weekend, and then this weekend another great weekend. Actually, I had two big plays. I loved to hit on the Broncos and the Packers, so it was a nice Sunday. I loved it. Finished the weekend strong with that ugly Broncos game, but got the win there. And then I was looking back at all the picks the past 3 weeks. I'm like 30-17. It's like 64% by just giving these leans out every single week. So make sure you guys are following the picks. We're putting you guys on the right side to bet on. So hopefully everyone got our picks in and made some money. How'd you make out this weekend?
Another winning week, Russ. Not going to lie. If you follow me on Chris Ebom on Twitter, I post all my plays from BetStamp. It's all documented, everything that went along with it. 29% ROI, another winning week. Haven't had a losing week all season, so it's been a really hot start for me. Getting a good handle on the season for as crazy as the season has been with a lot of really bad games for the most part. That Giants game, didn't do too well for me. They kind of close out the week, but still a winning week. But like you said, that Green Bay game, man, I was all over that game. I had Green Bay money line and the under, so I banged them both there. So that was good. But overall, great week, Russ. College football winning, NFL winning, and we're going to keep it going, Russ. We're almost at 200 subscribers, guys. If you're new to the show, we appreciate you coming in. If you've been watching the show every week, we also appreciate that as well. But, guys, spread the word. We want to get to 200. We're only 10 away, Russ, and then we're only going up from there. So as long as we're pumping out winners, guys, spread the word.
Definitely, and feel good again this week, man.
Absolutely, man. But hey, let's without further ado, let's get into this here. Thursday night football, we got the Miami Dolphins at the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals are laying 4 points. The over-under, Russ, 47.
Yeah, I got the Dolphins here. Bengals are a team that just don't impress me. I mean, I had them last week as a smaller play that I liked them in a great spot, but that was against the Jets. They got the win in the cover, but that's against a bad Jets team. But they didn't impress me. The Dolphins are starting to remind me of like the Cardinals of last year, where they got off to that really hot start. No one was expecting these guys. I mean, they faced 3 tough opponents so far already this season. And I looked at the rest of the schedule. If they get by this game, they have a chance to start like 9 or 10-0. You should see the schedule. It's crazy coming up. But again, even if Bridgewater, I don't know what's going on with the Tua situation, how he got the concussion. I don't know if he's in protocol, all that stuff. But this is a spot where if Bridgewater does come in here, I still think he can still get the cover. I mean, this isn't his first rodeo. He used to cover a ton of games as a dog. So if he's a dog in this spot, I think the Dolphins will play well for him. And he's got the weapons. He's never had these type of weapons on offense. So I think anyone can throw to these guys. And Tua is just a guy where I can see the spread just moving a couple points. He doesn't do anything special. He does the dink and dunk, and he's throwing a Tyreek Hill wide open down the field. It ain't that tough to make those throws. So I would, if I had the side, I would take the Dolphins in this game.
Yeah, especially with Waddle too. I mean, he's been fantastic. I mean, and Gesicki, he's been fantastic. I mean, he's good. He hasn't really. I don't know what his numbers are right off the top of my head, but I know he had a slow start for the most part. But if you can get this above field goal, I'm right there with you. I actually really like the over this game. Over under 47. Typically on Thursday nights, we usually get kind of those clunker, low-scoring games. But I think the points will be put up here. Cincinnati's offense passing yards are 14th in the NFL. The Miami Dolphins are pretty much close to dead last at defending the pass. So points will be scored. But I think, like you said, getting over that field goal, the Dolphins are playing really well. I'm pretty sure Tua is playing. It sounded like the head coach was saying he passed protocol like a few days ago, no problem. So I'm right there with you. I actually really like the over, so that's what I'm going to be playing. But if I had to take a side, I'm right there with you with the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, that you say that with the over. I mean, watching all these past night games with the Giants and that Broncos game, like, thank God I didn't have to watch the Giants last night. I was like, I don't have a pick tonight, guys.
That was a horrible game.
I had
Big Brother later on.
Yeah, I couldn't do it to myself 2 straight nights in a row. But that's the thing, though. We've been hitting a ton of unders on these primetime games.
Yeah.
I just feel like this is the week where there's actually some big matchups in the night game. So we could be seeing a lot of points for this week 4. So just throwing that out there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I ain't afraid of no ghosts over here. I'm playing the over, so over 47. Hey, but we're gonna get it to London. We got a 9:30
going to
a.m.
London.
What's up?
Going to London.
On to London, baby. We're going right there. 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got the Minnesota Vikings, Saints. Saints are getting 3 points. The over-under us is 43.5. Where are you going?
Nice. I like the Saints here. I mean, they're coming off a bad loss last week versus the Panthers. I was checking out. I like to look back and see some highlights of the previous game, watching that game against the Panthers. And it looked like Kamara had a fumble at the 40, and the Panthers took it back for a touchdown. And then they actually had a 30-yard field goal that was blocked. And then they ended up missing another field goal later in the game. So it was definitely a sloppy game. And I noticed that the Saints, this is now 2 straight bad showings now in a row for the offense. Remember the Bucs game, they looked terrible on offense. That was all Winston on that game. But I feel like this game will be in London. And I saw Mark Ingram in an interview the other day and after the game, and he's like, this is a business trip. We're going to be focused on this game. So I think the Saints will be focused in this game. We'll take the Saints here plus the 3.
Yeah, tough game. As far as the Vikings are going, you know, they had a really tough battle with the Lions. A lot of people love the Lions. They saved a lot of people's survivor, pretty much.
Oh, yeah. Yours, right?
I almost took them myself because I felt like with that bad showing against the Eagles, I thought there was a good spot for them to win. Ended up being correct. I ended up taking the Bengals in that spot. So, but the Saints, I mean, like you said, 2 clunkers in a row. A game I actually liked the Saints last week. And typically, you know, I'm not going to jump off of them this week. I think if you have to take a side, I think the +3 is good. The 43.5 over-under is a little low, which is kind of
that is really
surprising. I mean, I would lean the over, but I get it because of the time change and the situation and the London games just trying to get out of Dodge. But I'm right there for the over, I think. I mean, it looks like they're begging you to take the over here, but I mean, for what it is, hitting over. Look at the Giants game. What did that score end up being? And that was like nobody was scoring, and we ended up they ended up going over or pushing. It was like really close.
Yeah, that's crazy that game went over.
Yeah, like that game had no right of going over when like that first half was like that at 6-3. Yeah. And that almost went over. Now you got the Vikings that can put up points, and Jameis can throw. I mean, he's had some weird games. The LASIK, I don't know who his doctor is. He could have went to my doctor because I have fantastic vision. Man, he looked real bad.
I think he just needs some crab legs. I don't think it's anything with the LASIK.
He loves
maybe they have good crab legs in London, man. I don't know. We'll check.
No, it's like fish and chips over there. So maybe he's a fish and chips kind of dude. So we'll see. But I'll be right there with these Saints. And you know what? I'll take that over as well, you know, because honestly, it's a little too low for my liking. If the Giants could almost get there with the Cowboys last week, I think we can get there with that as well. So I'm playing the over, and I think the Saints is a good play as well. As long as you get that 3 or 3 and above, we'll see what I get. The next game we're going to get into, talk about another clunker over here. We got the Bears at the Giants. Giants are laying 3 points. The over-under us, 39.
Yeah, I actually have the Giants coming off that loss. I'm going to take the Giants here. They looked bad last week because they were missing. Yeah, that's the reason I actually liked the Giants earlier in the week. And then I started seeing the betting public was starting to go toward the Giants' way. And it was just like, yeah, it was kind of making me pissed off. And then seeing Leonard Williams was out, their defensive tackle. So that was a huge loss. That's why at the end of the game, the Giants were starting to fall apart, getting worn out. The Cowboys could take advantage of that weakness of not having Leonard Williams in there on the rushing defense. So this will be a spot where hopefully he's back here. I can see it was like one of those things. If I saw the Giants lose against the Cowboys, I was going to like them here in this spot against the Bears. So the Bears don't have a good run defense, and they don't really have a pass rush either. They won against the Texans last week and just squeaked that out. I think the Giants will get Saquon going, get the run game going, and everyone saw in prime time how bad the Giants look. So I think the Giants can actually get in the 20s. This is one of the rare teams where they can score like 24 points in this game. So I could see it being like a 24-20 type of game. They just barely get the cover.
Yeah, I mean, there's some bad news for the Giants. Sterling Shepard pretty much looks like he's gonna be out for the year, which is a big loss
Oh,
for
okay.
them.
Nice.
That looks like something. But James, the wide receiver, he looked really good. I mean, a lot of guys were really like on him for fantasy and like props and everything like that. This might be a nice little breakout game for him. The over under at 39, that's like really low. Um, you got the Bears coming off a win. It's just a situation. It's an ugly game, Russ. I'll be honest with you. I mean, if I had to lean, I'd lean Giants, but honestly, I'm staying away from here. And 39, that's pretty low with some of their weapons. I just kind of try to grind it out for the most part. This is actually a kind of game I do like the under on for the most part. I just don't think there's gonna be much scoring. The Bears always have like some sort of turnover issues constantly, so I like the under here. But that's pretty much where I'm going with that game.
I guess that's what I get for not watching the Giants game. I didn't see that Shepard injury there. So
Yeah, and then got whatever his name is.
well, yeah, that's what I was saying. So they're trying to trade away. There's a report right before, like everything added up, not to take the Giants right before the game started. You're starting to get news of the Giants trying to trade away both their starting wide receivers right before the game starts. I'm like, this has Jerry Jones written all over it, man. Just sending out the news, man, and just causing some drama before the Monday Night Football game right there.
Yeah, and you know what the messed up thing was? So I was at physical therapy, coming off the Achilles surgery, shout out to my man Gabe over here. He's been getting me good, ready to go for the golf course, getting me strong, ready to roll. He's watching. I know. We talked about it. We always talk football. I talked him into a little
He's stretching that 160 drive out the 180 right there.
What happened?
He's stretching that 160 drive out the 180.
Yeah, exactly. We're getting ready for golf season. The fall swing is here, Russ. All right, so that's what we're doing over here.
As long as it's straight.
Yeah, distance helps though. Distance does help. We could scramble. But anyway, so what were we talking about over here? So what was the wide receiver? Galladay
Galladay, and then Tony. I guess they're talking about both of them.
I mean, he's probably going to end up having a good game probably because everyone's poo-pooing him left and right. But hey, guys, thank you for watching. We got a lot of viewers tonight. This is great. If you guys have any questions or, hey, what are your best plays? Let's hear them. Maybe we're connecting with you or maybe we're just completely off. Either way, guys, voice your opinion. So let's get into it. But we're going to get into another game over here as well. Let's see where we are on the board. Let's see.
Are we at Commanders game?
Yeah, I think we're at the Commanders.
I think
my lineup got switched all over the place. I got flip flopped over here. So all right, we're gonna go Commanders at Cowboys. Cowboys are laying 3 points. The over under us 42.5.
I hate to say it, but I actually got the Commanders here.
Okay.
Everyone's jumping on the Cowboys train now. Now they've won 2 straight and winning on that Monday Night Football game. We actually had them getting 30% of the bets against the Bengals a couple of weeks ago. And then this past week, it was around 50% with the Giants game. And now this week, we're going to get them getting around 60 to 70. So we're starting to see a little uprise here on the Cowboys all of a sudden. And I feel like they're getting the action. So we could bring this up to maybe 3.5 to 4 once game time comes. So I would just wait on this game. I feel like the Commanders can cover this. I mean, we're facing a backup quarterback still. They put up their max of 23 points last week, but again, that was because they just wore down the Giants' defensive tackle and the defensive line right there with the running game. That's how they got 23 points, just managing that by the end of the game. I feel like the Commanders can do just enough. I could see something like the Commanders winning this like an ugly game, like a 20-17 type of game. I'll take them here.
Yeah, I mean, 2 games where they looked absolutely terrible. The Eagles and the Detroit Lions not covering the last 2 games. It's been really rough for them for the most part. But Wentz, I mean, you got to look at, so the Cowboys can get to the quarterback. I am kind of worried about that. Lawrence can get to the quarterback, and the guy from Parsons, he can get there as well. So I am kind of worried about that. I actually like the over 42.5. I think turnovers will be made, and I think the turnovers will actually create more points here. It's so hard, Russ, because Wentz, he does have talent, but man, he is just dumb as rocks. Like he just sits in that pocket. I was even tweeting out. It's like he likes pain. Like he just wants to sit in that pocket and get obliterated, like constantly. And those guys are going to tee off on him, and it's just like his center's out, and it's just a hot mess. So.
Yeah, it was just funny because I remember when they were called the Redskins or the Commanders or whatever, when they were setting a record for sacks against Wentz when he was on the Eagles, and now they flipped the script. We sent them over to them, and now we're setting a record, getting 9 sacks in the game. Like
Kerrigan had like 5 sacks that game or something crazy. Like it was absurd. Like I couldn't believe it.
I can't believe 9 sacks. That's absolutely absurd.
And then the Eagles signed Kerrigan, and he like doesn't even get a tackle the whole entire year. That would just be perfect. But I'm going over here. I think this is a good spot for turnovers that are going to turn into points. And I think Cooper Rush, he has been playing well, but he might be playing a little above over his head right now. And I think they might be smelling themselves a little bit. I mean, Pollard looked pretty good. I'm not going to lie. Pollard looked pretty solid.
Oh, he's explosive for sure.
Yeah, Pollard looked good, man. He's a problem. Zeke's the main back, but Pollard's been good. But you know what threw me off, though? Because, like, the Monday night game, Gallup was going to play, and then he ended up not playing. Like, they ended up ruling him out early. So I'm like,
really?
Great. This is great for the Giants. And then, obviously, it wasn't. But, that's here nor there. But I'm going over, Russ. We're going to go into the next game over here. We got the Buffalo Bills at the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens are getting 3 points. The over-under, Russ, 52.
Yeah, it was funny with the spread. I was just kept going back and forth, changing my notes. And I'm like, when I do that, I'm just like, no, I'm not taking the spread. So this is a game where I'm going to take the over, actually. We got 2 stud quarterbacks in this game. And then the Bills secondary, they had their issues with all these injuries to the cornerbacks going on, and plus their safety. And Lamar's looked very good with throwing the ball deep so far this year. So I feel like they can take advantage of that. And then the Bills, they're coming off a loss too, only scored 19 points against the Dolphins last week. And the Ravens defense hasn't impressed me this year. I thought they would be playing a lot better this season. They haven't looked good at all. Yeah. So the last time these two teams played, it was like a 17-3 type of game, a playoff game. I just feel like Lamar only scoring 3 points in that game. He's got a little revenge on his mind too. That's why I would have sided with the Ravens here, but the fact that I just don't like the Bills. I think they're really good this year. Like if they come off a loss, I don't trust.
A heartbreaking loss.
Yeah, exactly. I don't trust fading them even after one loss now. So it could be one of those games where the Bills just win by 1 or 2 points or something. But I just feel like this is like the over type of game. I could see something like getting crazy, like a 30-27 type of game, something like that. I'll take the over.
Yeah, it's one of those rocking chair games, man, where you just get your popcorn, you get your beer, you just relax, watch the points, have some fun, because you're going to sweat this game if you take one side or the other. It's not going to be a fun game to sweat out, especially if you got the Ravens at home, who are pretty good dogs at home for the most part. But yeah, I'm right there with you. If I'm taking something, I'm taking the over, just on the fact that both of them disappointing recently. And yeah, I mean, that Miami game was nuts, and Miami's just been on a buzzsaw right now. That we'll see when that kind of fizzles out eventually, but it might not be for some time, like you said. So
they'll probably, but they could be like the Cardinals. You know what I mean? Have that hot start, and then they start coming back to reality in the second half of the season. And the Cardinals ended up getting a wild card and got killed in the playoffs. It's pretty crazy.
Right. But yeah, I'm going the over with you. I think that's the safer play here. I think both teams need to prove something with the points. And I know Buffalo's defense is pretty decent. They are good. They got a lot of veterans that are playing well. But I think the offense is really need to show up. Jared Allen's definitely got a chip on his shoulder. So I think that would be good as well. So next game, Jacksonville at Philadelphia. Eagles -6.5. The over-under us, 48.
Yeah, I actually got the Jaguars here. Just because the Eagles, they're coming off 2 straight games where the defense has actually given up 10 points or less. So they've been dominating. The defense is good, but I just don't consider them elite to be holding teams to under 10 points like that. I can see the defense also coming out flat in this game. They had the revenge on their mind versus Carson last week, getting a ton of sacks. And now this week, they're facing Dougie P, their old coach. I feel like they're going to have a little soft spot here for Dougie P.
Soft spot?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Guy won a Super Bowl for the team. You're going to boo him? So, yeah, if it was Nick Foles or Dougie P coming out there, we aren't booing them. They're coming out there. They're the reasons why we won the Super Bowl. I think they're going to have a soft. It's not nobody's like Brandon Graham was talking trash about getting to Carson Wentz. He was pissed off. He's not going to have that with Dougie P. Dougie P's too nice. No one's hating on him. I just feel like there's a soft spot here that they're not going to be all jacked up. I feel like it's a Jaguars can keep this because I think the Jaguars will get in the low 20s. So I can see them getting a cover here in this game. I'll take the Jaguars.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, have been preaching it all year round. They pulled off a really big win that they probably shouldn't have won because of Herbert not being healthy. I mean, that kind of concerns me. People are jumping on the Jaguars bandwagon. There's a lot of storylines that go along with them. And now the line keeps going down now with this Jaguars money coming in. I'll be more than happy to take the Eagles here, laying the 6.5. I think they take care of business. You even had Fletcher Cox that was taking care of business last week that hasn't really done anything all year, and he's boys with Carson Wentz. So I don't really feel like that's kind of a factor to kind of put in for the most part. I think the Jags come down to reality a little bit here. I think they're kind of sniffing themselves a little bit. I actually really love the under this game, under 48. I think Dougie P will set up some sort of offense to dink and dunk and kind of kill the clock. He wants to make sure that explosive offense of the Eagles isn't going to get that many touches. I mean, he's a smart guy. He knows what's going on there in Philadelphia right now. This has been circled for him for a real long time. I think the tempo is going to be down a little bit. I think he's going to have pretty much Lawrence in check for the most part. I really like the under here, but if I have to take a side, I'm taking the Eagles here. I think they're just playing too well right now. I think they can do it against a bad Jaguars team that kind of way overachieved, scoring 38 points on the Chargers. Kind of surprising.
No, that's why. Yeah, trust me. I hate this. Isn't like a big play to me. That's the reason. If the Jaguars didn't get involved in that blowout game, I probably would have really liked the Jaguars.
Yeah, no, and I get that too. But
I just want to throw something out there with the Eagles. Like, they're getting a little overhyped right now. Like,
huge overhyped right now.
I'm just saying, like, when we're watching them, they look like nothing's going wrong. They're playing a perfect game. And they're playing a perfect game and only putting up 24 points. Like it's like really crazy how they just look so flashy when they look good. Remember that play before halftime? They got sloppy, ended up on the 1 yard line. The time was ticking. They had to Hurts had to on the fly run a play and ended up throwing a touchdown on that. Like these are like perfect, like, I don't know. There's like defenders right on these guys and they're making some crazy catches. So I just have a feeling once they start playing some really good competition with some good defense, these teams are going to get physical with these guys. We'll wait and see, but that's the thing. We're taking advantage of this easy schedule.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. You can only see who's on there, Yeah.
But once the Eagles, they're going to start getting in the favorite role. And actually, when they start playing a good team, it's going to be a team that is really good, like an elite team that should be favored by like 3 or 4. And we're going to end up being a pick 'em or something, We're going to end up pouncing on one of those games once we face one of those.
Yeah, I mean, I think next week honestly might be a Cardinals kind of week. I think that's kind of a sneaky.
I'm talking like anyone like in the top, like elite. I got to check the schedule.
Well, not elite. I just think it's kind of a bad spot for them next week.
Kyler, of course. Yeah, Kyler. I remember they got into a shootout with him. I think it was a couple of years ago. I forget if it was 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, but I could definitely see the game. I just felt like the offense, like they were getting so hyped, like MVP talk, but he isn't getting in the 30s and 40s yet. He's still only scoring 24 points, and then not scoring anything in the second half. It's a little bit of sloppy, but it just looks perfect out there. It's just very weird.
Well, because Hurts isn't really making any mistakes.
Yeah,
that's number one thing. I mean, that's the difference between him and Carson Wentz is that Carson Wentz makes those mistakes constantly. Hurts is pretty much bad, perfect games. I mean, guys have dropped balls for him and everything, but he's almost made every right decision. And maybe eventually things will come to the mean and he'll start making some mistakes. But I don't know. The offense is locked in. The offensive line is playing really well. That's kind of key. They're giving him time back there. So you're blitzing him, then he's running. If you're not blitzing him, he's picking you apart right now. A.J. Brown's been great hands. Devontae Smith, big game last week. He had huge catches. I mean, This offense is tough to guard.
Yeah, this team's definitely getting the 1 seed. I'm looking at they're going to get the 1 seed, but we're going to be like the Titans of last year, maybe a little
I
overrated.
hope not.
Look at this schedule, man. We got the Cardinals, the Cowboys, the Steelers, the Texans, and the Commanders. It's just a joke of a schedule. It's crazy. It's great.
Super Bowl goes to the Lincoln Financial Field, you're saying?
Oh yeah. So maybe this might be their toughest. This might be their toughest competition, actually. The Jaguars coming up, other than these other games coming up, because these teams are much worse than the Jaguars. Steelers, Cowboys. I mean, the Cardinals. That's the other one. So the Cardinals or this Jaguars game. That's the hiccup game. So we'll see which one it'll be. Yeah.
Dude, I'll tell you what, man. You get me excited, man. If we have home field advantage, you and me might just have to leave the wives and the kids. And might have to do a little tailgating and then watch the game at Xfinity or something.
I'm ready, man. You know it'll happen.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it'll be good, man. Yeah, maybe I'll have to put in some good PR with the wife and everything.
All right, there you go.
But yeah, that sounds great. That's all great news. I hope it comes to fruition. But next game though, Seahawks at the Lions. Lions are laying 4.5. The over/under is 50, Russ.
I know. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. It was up to 6. Yeah, that was another one. I just kept going back and forth, and I was like, right away. I said, "Wow, Lions, they're -6. This is crazy," because they weren't even favored once last year. So it's pretty crazy. But then I noticed that the Seahawks were missing a bunch of cornerbacks last week. That's why they gave up so many points.
Right.
So that's why I don't know what the story is just yet with that. But I don't know. What stands out to me also is this 50. And so I got Goff against Geno Smith, and the total's at 50.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So I'm siding with the under here. If I can get 2 average to below average quarterbacks and an over-under with 50, I don't care how bad a cornerbacks will be in there. I mean, they can only get better from what they did last week, and they gave up the 27 points. So I feel like the Lions as a favorite, I think they'll be a little flat too. Like, it's a huge difference when you're like an underdog and you can just do whatever you want. Now you're actually in the favorite role, and this team knows that they're in that favorite. It's not like the pick 'em type of game against the Commanders. This is like, hey, we're definitely the favorite here. So I could see them playing a little sloppy here, maybe on offense, not clicking like they usually do, putting up a ton of points. So I'd feel like this will be an under type of game. Both teams love to run the ball too, so a lot of clock could be running in this game as well.
Yeah, you pretty much read my mind right there. I think the clock will be running. If you look at what Detroit has done, they're 3rd in the NFL in rushing offense, and Seattle's 31st in defending the rush.
Okay.
So the clock is going to run a lot. I think Goff is pretty much going to be handing off the ball all day, screen plays, a lot of, problems for the most part. But Russ, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
In golf, we trust?
Oh, all right.
You trust this guy?
In golf, you trust for yourself.
I don't think I do. I do here.
Oh, yeah. He's just an average quarterback. Yeah. You couldn't get the job done with that. You couldn't get the job done with the Rams in the Super Bowl. So you couldn't get over 10 points or whatever they put up.
Yeah, that was an ugly against the Patriots.
Oh, they just had him figured out. So they knew exactly what to do. That was an ugly Super Bowl right there.
Oh, that was probably one of the worst Super Bowls I've ever seen. But you know what? We talked about a couple weeks ago when Detroit was the first ever favorite since like 2020 or whatever. We were all over that against the Commanders because they came off of that win against the Jags. Great spot here. I don't like them in this spot. This is a little too comfortable for their liking for the most part. I'll lean with Seattle, but I'm right there with you. I think the under is a good play. I think this is way too high for these kind of quarterbacks. I mean, maybe this is a sign this books. I mean, if you look at the stats, it looks like Detroit's going to score at will and they're just going to score a lot of points, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they're just basing it off the rankings right now, and it's still too early to really know what kind of team this really is.
Yeah, it's only been 3 weeks, right?
It's only been 4 weeks. No, we're in week 4 now, so it's been 3 weeks. So I'm right there with you, under all day. But next game, Cleveland Browns at the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons are getting 1.5 points for us. The over-under is 49.5.
Yeah, I repeat this every week. I got like the 2 games that when I tell you guys don't touch it, it always ends up the one team just wins by a field goal. It's just that crazy game of the week. Right. And this is definitely it. I mean, I know the Browns, they lost the linebacker in that game last week, so that'll hurt them. Yeah. But also the Falcons, they're supposed to be one of the worst teams in the league. I can't, just because they look really good right now, I just can't back them. I don't trust it. I mean, they took advantage, like I said, the Seahawks missing all those cornerbacks. And what did they do? They just barely won by a field goal. I think the Browns, they blew that one game against the Jets, but every other game it seems like they've been winning, or the game just comes down to the wire. So if I'm taking the game down to the wire, I'll probably take the Browns in this game. So if I had to decide, I would take the Browns in this game.
Yeah, I mean, so Garrett got a little. Miles Garrett got hurt a little bit.
Oh,
So
yep,
he's a
that's
little
right.
banged up there.
Mhm.
It's pretty interesting though. Amari Cooper looked pretty good. Brissett is
Mhm.
serviceable. The
He's
Joe.
actually looked better than I thought, actually. It's
Yeah,
like the past couple of years when I watched him, he looked awful.
Brissett. You talking about Brissett or?
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
like, yeah, with the Browns, he's actually been throwing it down the field. It's been kind of nuts. I was like, wow, maybe things open up more just because they have that great run game too. So that could be it too.
Yeah, that gives a lot of space. And Amari Cooper's really good. So I mean,
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
kind of overlooked for the most part. But this is a tough game, Russ.
Yeah, I can't see this being on anyone's radar for betting this too. Like, um,
I
yeah,
see this. I see this personally as an under game.
mhm.
It's at 49.5, which is really high.
That's what I was thinking too. The straight 2 games here with the bad quarterbacks, very high over unders, just because these teams have been putting up a lot of points. But again, it was September. That always happens. So I would say this has got to be a smart underplay too. You know, you got 2 bad quarterbacks, and Mariota put up the 27 or something last week
Mhm.
just because of those missing cornerbacks. So he's not always. What do we got? Mariota just putting up high 20s every week here.
No,
Like,
that's
yeah.
gonna come. That's gonna come to the mean. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. If he puts up another 28 in this game, I'm just going to be like, okay, something's going on here. He's the greatest show on turf here.
yeah, man, he's
'Cause,
just slinging it or running
yeah.
around like a madman. But I know. But if I have to pick something, I'm gonna take the under. But this is pretty much a stay away for me for the most part.
Yeah.
But hey, if you're feeling froggy, you want to leap, let's just play that under. It went down to 49.5. Let's just get it while it's still pretty high. But the
Mhm.
next game we got the Jets at the Steelers. Steelers are laying 3.5. The over under us 40.5.
Yeah. I actually got the Steelers here because I was surprised when I saw that the public was backing the Jets in this spot here. And again, we talked about it before. You love Tomlin, so Tomlin's a
Yeah,
good coach, and seems like they're coming off 3 straight terrible performances on
terrible
offense. Yeah,
performances.
so I mean, I'm the first to be against Trubisky, but now we're finally in a spot where the Steelers, they're starting to get the disrespect that they can't score any over 20 points, but we're finally getting them not getting the bet percentage. No one's giving them respect. I feel like this will be the game that they could get in the 20s here. So I see like a 24-16 type of game. I think the Steelers, they just barely get the cover in an ugly type of game.
Yeah, I mean, you have to love the under in this game. I think this is a great under game for the most part.
Mhm.
Steelers now laying 3.5. I think this is what we call an imploded line for how bad they've been playing. I think the books know they're probably going to win by a touchdown. Probably. I think this is actually a really good survivor play if you
Mhm.
like you want to just use a team that you're not going to use. Like I
Mhm.
think this is a good spot. Let's see what they did. They lost to Cleveland 17-29. Lost to New England 17-14. They won that game against Cincy to start the season, which we were all for as a dog with the
Mhm.
Steelers there. That was getting 6.5, 7 points, which was the most outrageous thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. You won't see that again the rest of the season.
Mhm.
But this team pretty much, I think this line is screaming Steelers.
Mhm.
The more I'm talking about it with you, I'm more in with the Steelers laying 3.5. I think this is a great spot for him. Tomlin, a pissed off Tomlin, get the offense rolling. Trubisky can definitely get it done here. Give me the Steelers laying 3.5. Let's keep it simple. They're covering this game.
They got to win sometime, right?
They do, and this is the week, and they're going to win by at least a touchdown. So
Yeah.
next game we're going to get into is Tennessee at Indy. Two disappointing teams in the AFC South over here. Colts laying 3.5 for us. The over-under 42.5. What are we doing with this stinker of a game?
If someone watches this show for the past couple of years, they know what's not coming out of my mouth here. The word Titans, it just doesn't come out.
That's true.
I was actually pissed because I totally missed this last week. I saw that. Remember, the Titans got totally waxed. Listen, whenever a backup quarterback comes, this I've been noticing this the past couple of years. When a backup quarterback and the starting quarterback gets benched, the next week that team literally is always covers as the dog and wins outright. It's crazy. That's what happened with the
Oh,
Titans.
when they get benched and they play the next
Tannehill,
week.
Tannehill got
Usually
benched
really good
at
for
the
them.
end of the Bills game, and then everyone's down on him. He gets benched the next game. he comes out and they score a bunch of points,
Right.
get the cover and a win. It happened like I remember it happened like Cam Newton when he was on the Patriots, like a bunch of situations I remember. And that team always is like the small dog and ends up winning outright the next week. So it's always the desperation. You get the desperation teams. It sucked that the Raiders were also the 0-2 team. So that's what sucked about it. So if the Raiders were like 1-1, Titans would have been a great play. So just wanted to throw that out there. So jumping into the Colts game, I'm going to take a team total over. I'm going to take the Colts over 22.5 points.
Okay.
Here. Yeah, because the offense has still been absolutely terrible. They're only averaging 13 points per game, Chris.
Yikes.
That's absolutely nuts. All right.
That's insane.
Yeah, last week I think I talked about this, how I thought that it would be a high-scoring game against the Chiefs, but somehow that just turned into the Colts just playing great defense in that game.
That came out of nowhere. We both loved the over that game.
Oh, yeah. That's like I would have sided with the Colts there, but I just can't trust betting against Mahomes. I'm not going to do it. So I definitely see Jonathan Taylor. He's been quiet a lot this year. This has got to be his big game right here. And I noticed that the Colts have the Broncos coming up next week. So the Broncos play great defense. So this just seems like a great spot here where the Colts offense can get going against the Titans defense that have their own issues going on. They just got that win last week. I think the Colts, they scored enough points here. They got to get over 22.5 points here. Finally get the monkey off their back on offense here.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at what the Tennessee defense has done. I mean, look at the Raiders. They gave up 2. Buffalo, of course, 41. That offense is fantastic. And then the Giants
put up 21. And
that says a lot right there. Yeah. I mean, that offense hasn't been that great. And so it's like I like where you're at with that for the most part. I had to actually crack open another beer because this game is going to take a lot of effort here. But you know what? You kind of talked me into it a little bit because this is a different play now. You talked me into it a little bit. This Titans now, when the quarterback gets benched, and then they end up playing the next week, they end up covering. And when you said that, I thought about it in my head. I'm like, does this really happen? Like with all the games I've watched, it actually does happen a lot. Like, I mean, I don't have a laundry list of games, but just based on watching football every week, and be like, this sucks. They bench your quarterback. That next week, I'm coming out. You kind of talked me into the Titans getting 3.5. I mean, it could go up to 4. It could go up to 4.5. I mean, like, just.
Well, I'm saying no. This didn't happen last week, though. This happened the week before. I didn't want to confuse you.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. This happened in the Bills game, and then last week, and then last week they won. Yeah, and then they won outright the next week against the Raiders.
Oh, okay, so I'm off.
I just wanted to throw that little stat out there.
Thank you. Yeah. My brain's in a pretzel right now.
At least you didn't roll away to get on DraftKings and put that bet in. I
didn't lock it in yet. Like when I locked that Alabama play, I like when you were talking to me, I'm like, what am I doing? I got to lock this in now. Like, what am I doing with my life? I mean, that was probably one of my plays as well. But it was a great spot. But this is just I don't know. It's not going to be on the red zone unless they call it the punt zone. Then there's going to be punting left and right. But you know what? The Colts could score here, but I don't know, Russ. I'll roll with you with the team total over because this is a hot mess of a game. So we're going to roll with that.
That's what I'm saying. Like next week they face the Broncos and they play good defense. So this team is not a team that's going to be averaging 13 points per game. You got Jonathan Taylor as your running back and Pittman as your wide receiver. Like this is definitely the game where they're going to get I don't know if they're going to cover the game, but I feel like this 22.5 points, I feel like it's definitely just going to happen. Like this was like something I just like put the notes down, but now that I think about it, it's like these guys, you're scoring 13 points per game in the first 3 games. Right. They gotta be putting up points here. And Pittman was missing week 2 too. So that was like a sloppy game.
Valid point. Yeah.
Yeah. So
let me see. So I'm looking at this Titans Colts game real quick. Let me see
see how they've done in the past. That's good.
I want to see what Tennessee has done with the actually the Tennessee rush defense is 29th in the NFL, which is absolutely horrible. The Jonathan Taylor, game could get established real nicely.
The Bills don't run the ball either. So that's a game where they don't run the ball. They're not a running team. So if they give up a lot of yards and they're one of the worst teams facing the Bills who don't run the ball. So it's not like one of those where you see like, oh, you faced the Ravens and Lamar had 100 some yards in the game. That'll mess up your stats. they've been playing very basic teams. The Giants have Saquon, but it's not like they put up a ton of yards. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah. So
I kind of like that team total over. I think Jonathan Taylor.
The Titans face the Raiders, who are terrible on the run offense. Their offensive line's terrible.
Which
so
is shocking.
This is all starting to add up even more. So this is why it's good that we talk about the games, because now it's
we get big bets coming into here when you and I talk. Like
yep.
I put in my bets that I know that I really like, but when we do this show and we talk it out, you and me, we've been doing this for like forever, more than I can even like think of time wise, since high school, like beyond and beyond. But I mean, like when we talk it out and we figured this out, things click, and I hope people realize this.
Find some hidden gems. All you got to do is talk and check it out. That's why it's better when you don't look at the stats yet. When we talk and then you talk about the game and then you look back and say, oh, the Titans are actually one of the worst, and like, wow, didn't know that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had to look at that right now, honestly.
Yeah, that's why it'll mess with your head. Like, it's better to talk about it before you guys look at your information first. Talk about the games, think about it, and then look at all those stats and see who's the worst, the best at certain things right there.
Yeah, but you guys are lucky. You guys got a chair right next to us. Listen to us talk. You can chime in. Remember, you can come into the chat if you guys got questions about games and leans, anything like that. We're talking all these games out. If there's a game that you feel like you really like, talk about it in the chat. We will talk about how we feel about the game. Maybe we talk you into something. Maybe we talk you out of something. Either way, we're going to get into the fourth. We got another 1 o'clock. Excuse me. We got one more 1 o'clock game. We got the Chargers at the Texans. Texans are getting 4.5 points. The over under Russ, 44.5.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Chargers I got in this game. I mean, they're coming off that bad loss, and then again looking bad. That was just a weird game watching. I mean, we had no clue if Herbert was even playing. It was just one of those weird things that happened. I couldn't believe that they got killed like that. He just looked so uncomfortable back there, but I just feel like this is the type of team that can bounce back here, even if the defense has to pick it up and control this game. I feel like they can get the cover here. I mean, last year the Texans actually pulled off that upset. I remember they had like a pick six and everything in that game. It got pretty crazy. So I'm sure this team
was at the Chargers, right?
Yeah.
Let me see.
Yeah, that was probably
it was home. It was home for the Texans. Yeah, Texans were getting 13.5 points.
Yeah, it was a huge spread. I remember that. Yep. Yeah. And Texans won that outright. But I'm sure Herbert's going to remember that. Played a terrible game against the bad team. I can't see him having the stats of just playing terrible against the Texans again here. Like I said, even if he's going to play conservative, I feel like Keenan Allen was missing last week. Everybody was all over Mike Williams, so he only got like one reception or something in that game. So with Keenan Allen, it's definitely going to open up a lot more options here. I'll take the Chargers here. I mean, I can't see myself back in the Texans, who just lost to the Bears last week. Nothing special is going on with the Texans. They took advantage of a tie with the Colts in week 1, so Texans are nothing special here.
Yeah, I mean, this is the ultimate buy low of the Chargers, who everyone loved. We talked about the Chargers before on the ultimate buy low against the Chiefs. We won that game on prime time. That was a game we both loved with the Chargers. We were getting like 4.5 that game. That was absurd. Now we're only laying 4.5 with the Texans. And I know the Texans have been playing tough, but come on. Lovie Smith, give me a break.
The reason this spread's dropping is because the Chargers do have like a bunch of injuries, but it's not just – it would concern me if they played like an average team, but they're lucky that they're playing a bad team here, because they had like a bunch of offensive linemen get hurt in the game, and J.C. Jackson was out last week, but I'm sure he'll be back this week. Bosa ended up leaving so that's why the game got sloppy last week.
Bosa's hurt. I don't think he's going to play.
Yeah, he got hurt.
And Keenan Allen might not even play either, but –
okay, I'll have to look into that with Keenan Allen, because
that's a possibility. He has a hamstring issue.
I'll be really confident, even if those key offensive linemen and everything's out, because Eckler's been kind of quiet too. He's got to be due for a big game here.
Absolutely.
And the Chargers defense is really good. The Texans, I feel like this is a game where their offense gets shut down here as well.
Yeah, I mean, you're in the discount with the Chargers here. I think it's a matter of time for the Texans to, get back to the mean, get back to the floor, if you will. So I'm right there with you. I'm taking the Chargers minus 4.5. I'll take the bait all day on that. All right, we're going to the 4 o'clock games. We got the Cardinals at the Panthers. Panthers, Russ, 2-point favorite, over under 42.5. Russ, I feel like I've seen this story before with the Panthers and the Cardinals playing, and the Panthers being a small favorite at home. Russ, where are you going here?
All right. Well, I'll let you go first, man. If you're feeling a little something here,
I'm feeling something here. I've done a little bit of work on this game.
Okay.
I feel like this is completely a Cardinals line. I think this is a game where you're like, Kyler Murray, who pulled that game out of his ass in that Raiders game. This Panthers team coming off a win that they probably shouldn't have won, honestly, against the Saints. Pretty much saving the head coach's job, Rule's job. I think the Cardinals come out here blazing here. I think Kyler Murray is going to be a big problem this week. The over-under is 42.5, which is really low, but I really feel like they're going to put up a lot of points this game. So I know we talked about as far as high-scoring teams, things of that nature and everything. I want to bring that up real quick because that was great. Mitch brought that up last week, our boy. And he was saying, oh, this is how much, this is for this and that, for the high-scoring teams of the week. So I'm going to look at the highest-scoring team right now.
Oh, you'll definitely get value
over here. I'm looking at the Cardinals, Russ. They're 30-1.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It was funny because I saw that earlier today, and I
saw put that in.
Yeah, all the 20 and 30-1s I actually liked for the week. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, let me look at the stats a little bit, but I feel like let me look at what they did last time they played because I know this game happened before. I could be wrong.
Well, the thing is, so we got the
so I was completely wrong, but so Carolina,
but this
Carolina's one less.
Yeah, this is a game though that can get kind of crazy. Like you got Baker who loves to throw the ball downfield, gets crazy, and then you got Kyler loves to scramble. You got two crazy quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So for this only 42.5, this is a great underplay. I feel like too. Yeah, and then the Cardinals only put up 12 points last week, so I think they should be able to put up a good amount of points this week.
So you think this game goes under?
No, over. I said over.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's.
Okay. I thought you said you liked under. Yeah,
by accident. My bad. But yeah, I feel like this is an over. And then this is the Kyler Murray effect where we say when he's an underdog, he literally covers like 70% of the games when it's not the Rams. And what happened with the Rams? The Rams covered last week. So his kryptonite is the Rams. Anyone else, he puts up a bunch of points, is great as an underdog because teams don't know him. The Rams see him all the time, so they know how to shut him down. But these other teams never see him. They got a freaking little midget running around, man. It ain't easy to plan for that.
Absolutely. And Brent's checking. He said Baker should not be favored in any game this year, and I kind of agree with them. I mean, the guy is. I don't know how he's having the job. I mean, the Ole Miss quarterback that they drafted. I know he got banged up at the end of the season. I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
Who, with the Panthers or the Browns?
The Panthers drafted the Ole Miss quarterback.
Corral. Yeah, he got
Corral. So they drafted Corral, and he looked really good during training camp. I think they're kind of holding him on the back burner. I think if Rule's smart, he should probably say, hey, we got to drop.
Don't worry. He drafted that quarterback, and he won't be around to see how good he is.
Oh, man. Well, just saying this job
one of those where other coach takes advantage, and Corral will be amazing or something. That's how it works out.
Yeah, kid has an arm. So, I mean, it'll be interesting there. But I think you and I agree. I think Cardinals is the play here, especially as a dog. And just the fact that the Panthers are a favorite just because they're home, and they came off a win. If they didn't come off a win, maybe they could have been a dog at home, but now that they beat the Saints at home, this is the perfect spot now that we're talking about it.
And it seems like an auto bet with Cardinals and the over. Have we seen a Cardinals and an under win? Like the Cardinals win at being under game?
No, not that I can recall.
Yeah, it's always just gets crazy. They're a dog and it's a high scoring game. It's always like that. And I think Baker's looked bad in like every game. I mean, I guess he put up.
He has not looked good ever.
Yeah. I heard he looked really bad last week, but who knows? It could be he put up a good amount of points against the Browns. I don't have that information of how.
But that was just like a game where he was trying to give it his all, and that was pretty much about.
But he was gunslinging some deep balls, so I just feel like this is going to be another one where the Cardinals' pass defense hasn't been good, so Baker can throw some deep balls. I just siding with the over is all I'm saying. I think I really like the over in this play.
Yeah, I'm right there with you because if the Cardinals even score like 30 points, which is definitely possible, like really the Panthers only need to score a little bit, and obviously you can score on this Cardinals defense. So I think the over is a great play. I'm shocked that it's even this low. I mean, I think it's going up right now. I'm looking on DraftKings. It's minus 115 for the over, 42.5. So this will go up. So if you're like us and you like the over, bet it now before it keeps going up. But I'll tell you what, Russ, I think Cardinals is the play. I think you don't mess around with the over-under. I think Murray has a great game. If you're feeling froggy and you want to leap, like I always say, that 30-1 for the highest scoring team, I think that's a real bet that I'm probably going to put in, just sprinkle in a little bit.
Yeah, you definitely get. They look so juicy, man.
That's extra juicy.
Yeah, like if you guys are going to bet that high scoring, don't be betting like the favorite.
Yeah, you throw a couple bones on it. Whatever you feel like you can lose that like really, it's like a really small bet. When
you guys do this, you want to take like an underdog too, like because they're writing the team off, and that's when they get like those crazy turnovers and a defensive touchdown. Those underdogs always pull off that crazy game where they put up a ton of points. So if you guys are looking at that, make sure you take a dog for that. That's why the Cardinals, that's a smart one. They're +2. They could put up a good amount of points in that game too. That would be a smart play.
So we got another interesting game here. We got the Patriots at the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are now a 10-point favorite. The over-under us 40.5. Where we going?
Yeah, I mean, I got the Packers here. I mean, there's only one way you can really go in this game. Mac Jones sprained his ankle at the last play of the game. Did you see that?
I saw him crying, and he was
crying for his mama. You didn't see that?
I mean, I'm a man. I tore my Achilles twice. Never cried. I walked it off and drove home like a man. But
yeah. If you sprained your ankle, I think everyone has, right?
Oh, I definitely know basketball for sure. Like I used to do that all the time, sprain my ankles, and it just stinks. Your ankle blows up and everything. High ankle sprain does suck. I happened to me before, but Mac Jones looked like he got shot with a shotgun pretty much when he was like, all crazy everything. I wish I had the video to throw up because he was like crying, like it was really bad. But I mean, I don't know, man. He just, he didn't get hit enough in college, I guess.
I figured when we had a double-digit spread like this, I would just throw some Mac Jones crying off the field. That's all we can really do.
That's a good leeway into this for the most part. 40.5. I think the under is a good play here. I think Aaron Rodgers wants to just get out of Dodge and just be like, let's run the ball and it'll be enough. And then, maybe you'll see some love in there for the backup. I'm playing the under just to be safe. If I'm playing something, but I mean, you either play Green Bay or nothing here. Like, who's even the backup at this point?
That's funny. That's the thing. It's like usually I have that, and I'm just like, I don't even know who the hell the Patriots. That's the thing. I don't even want to know.
Is Garoppolo? No, I'm just joking.
The thing is, I don't want to know because I don't want to be betting on this game. I hate double digits.
No.
Holy shit, he's still alive. Brian Hoyer.
Oh, Brian Hoyer. Yeah, no, he's starting. Yeah.
That's another crybaby. I remember when he was on the Texans and he was crying that he got benched for Osweiler.
Yeah, Hoyer. My man Brett's coming in with Hoyer. But you know what? I don't even think they should even play him anyway. I think they should play Bailey Zappi, the Western Kentucky Hilltopper. That's who they should really play.
Oh, sick.
Sling that rock. That's
Zappi, dude. That was our 40-1 Western Kentucky there.
The highest scoring bowl game. Yes, yes. Hey, if you watched Tackle Aboard last season, we cast big with that.
Zappy, man. Holy shit. Man, I might be scared to touch this game.
That was nice.
Hell yeah, we'll see how he's
throws. It was good, man. Points all over the place. That's who they should play next week. F. Brian Hoyer.
Dude, you gotta look at Bailey Zappi's picture, dude. He looks exactly like Mac Jones. They're just a typical white boy right there.
But he just slings it, dude. You gotta play him. If they play Hoyer, like what are we? Just trade Zappi.
Seriously, what the hell is Hoyer doing, dude? How the hell old is that guy? Holy hell!
All right, I'm getting an age update over here. Is he older than me?
Oh, I don't know, dude. You're up there.
He's younger than me. 36.
Yeah, 36 as a quarterback is like 40, man. So
it's like 50.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
No, you gotta play Bailey Zappi. Like, come on, Belichick. Like, what are you doing? Like, you got a guy that you literally got a nice little like pistol in the holster that you don't want to shoot right now. Like Bailey Zappi's that guy. Like, play him.
Dude, I don't know. What's his name's a little 9 for 11, 227 yards last year, 149 rating.
Oh, get the hell
looks
out of
looks
here.
like he came in all the games where they're up 40 points. So
Yeah.
I'm sure it was like practice.
Get the hell out of here. Give me Bailey Zappi. You want to see some fireworks? Like, you want to see what you have in the future?
I think it might be one of
the future, I guess.
Hoyer might be in there for the first half when they have 0 points, and they'll be like, just screw it, just put Zappi in and just.
You want a Garoppolo deal? Play Zappi so you can get some picks. All right.
We might have a real QB competition. I like the rush competition with Jerry Jones over there.
Yeah, well, Next game, though, we got the Broncos at the Raiders. Raiders are winning 2.5. Russ, the over-under 45.5. Broncos Nation, let's ride, Russ. What are you doing?
Yeah, let's ride's going on. I told you last week, man. Let's ride. All right, just keep on riding, man.
No, I can't ride that.
You'll get on the bandwagon soon, man. It's been ugly.
God, this team sucks.
This been an ugly bandwagon, and we're 2-1, man. All right, we got another one. Now we get to play the Raiders. 0-3.
I'm just so lucky.
Oh, everyone's gonna say the Raiders, they can't lose. They can't go 0-4. No way. Oh yeah, okay. Doubt not my Broncos. I'm getting a little crazy here. Doubt the Broncos. All right. So anytime I'm getting the Broncos here, I got the better defense. And again, the Raiders, I said their issues are going to be with that offensive line. They're not going to be able to handle those big boys of this division. It's going to start here. So again, the public's down on the Broncos. No one's betting the Broncos, and I'm cracking up at this. So Russell Wilson, keep looking ugly. It's fine. This is one of those, just like the Colts. We got a team that's averaging very low in their points per game. That second game was ugly because Jerry Jeudy left the game. Last week was really ugly, but dude, you should have saw the Niners, man. They were freaking swarming last week on defense, man. That defense is nasty because the past years, the Niners kept having injuries and they're actually healthy. The 49ers looked sick last week and the Broncos squeaked that one out. So Raiders are a team that do not scare me. I'll take the Broncos here getting the points.
Sorry, I'm like laughing in the background because the only reason I'm laughing in the background is because I'm looking at Russell Wilson's stats. So right now he's thrown for 743 yards, under 60% for his completion rate, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, sacked 9 times. 9 times sacked.
Oh, on the season. Okay.
On the season. This is what's happened so far in the season. In 3 games played, he's been sacked 9 times. I know Russ Wilson's a tough dude, but he's getting old, man. As you know, you get old, man. Those hits hurt a lot more. Tom Brady will tell you for sure. But all right, so Cortland Sutton, guy still hasn't had a touchdown yet. I mean, Jerry Jeudy's a little banged up for the most part. I really like the under here, under 45.5. If I'm going to play something in this game, which I'm probably not, because I can't bear to take a Broncos game at this point because they're just so fucking terrible. But I would take the under 45.5 if I had to take something, but I will probably be on the sidelines, Russ. God bless you. Take your Broncos. Let's ride.
Let's ride. Let's ride.
Let's ride. Oh, man, it's disgusting.
All right. Cut 143. Let's ride.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of cuts because this is some ugly freaking football. Right?
We just can't get a good one yet.
You're not going to get a good one for a while with this stat line. All right, Sunday night, KC Chiefs, Bucks. Bucks are getting 2 points at home. The over-under, Russ, 45.5. Where are we going, Russ?
Yeah, gosh, what are we going with here? So we got the big hurricane going on here in Tampa Bay, so I don't know what's going on.
That's right. The locations might change.
This game is getting moved. God bless everyone out in Florida. Hope you guys are okay. Everything's good out there. Make sure you evacuate. But again, this is part of my 2 games of the week that one of those avoid games. We got 2 teams with issues fighting. One team, the Chiefs, they're fighting with their offensive coordinator, and then you got the Bucks who somehow they're 2-1. These guys have major issues. I mean, they're getting Mike Evans back, but I guess the Bucks can actually get in the 20s here, and that's what I'm saying. I could just keep going back and forth with this. I think if anything, Brady can get this game to go over the 45. I feel like if this game was played last year, it would be like a 51 or 52.
Easily, but because of the offensive line issues and
and
he's throwing to what's his name? Who's the white wide receiver he keeps throwing to that keeps dropping balls?
What for the Bucks?
Yeah,
Scotty. Yeah, Scotty Miller. Yeah, it's because
Scotty Miller, he dropped so many balls.
they got 20 wide receivers. They're signing anyone that just gets on the squad. Gosh. They're like, oh, the
How he
Bucks are
doesn't
missing
know.
these receivers. I'm like, these guys got like 9 receivers. Like, who the hell's playing for this team? But Mike Evans, he's going to find spots to get him open. If you guys have a prop, just bet Mike Evans probably receptions here. They just try to get him in the slot, get him anywhere on the field. Yeah,
Evans all day.
Yeah. So you got 2 quarterbacks who underachieving last week. You got to think these guys are going to start to get in the 20s. I mean, the Bucks look sloppy. They had Evans in that game against the Saints, but Saints shut him down, and he ended up leaving the game because in the game or whatever, he got in trouble. And then last week, I didn't like them against the Packers anyway. That was a bad spot. Missing Evans. So that was another spot where the offense looked terrible. But Brady can do a little dink and dunk against the Chiefs. Both teams will probably do the dinking and dunking, getting a lot of completions, forcing their way up the field. Even if these teams have to get a lot of field goals, I just feel like they can get over that 45 mark. Like I could see some. Yeah, it's such a tough game. That's why picking the side is tough, but I'll definitely go with the over in this game. But I would not hold me to this.
Yeah, we don't know where this game's going to be. I would lean with you at the over a little bit, but honestly,
over's probably better if it is on a neutral site too. No real crowd or anything. Going nuts. So that would be good for 2 great quarterbacks with no crowd.
Yeah, so I mean that's pretty much what we're looking at there, the over. But this is gonna be pretty much a mainstay away. But we got a Monday night game. I'm kind of intrigued by it, Russ. We got the Rams at the 49ers. 49ers are laying 2 points. The over/under Russ is 41.5. Where you go?
Yeah, I'm siding with the Niners here. I noticed that the Rams, they ended up getting a bunch of injuries to their secondary last week in the game. They were down to their 3rd or 4th cornerbacks or something in the game. It got real bad for them, and somehow they still pulled out that win against the Cardinals. The 49ers, I like a team that they looked bad on prime time last week. I feel like this will be the next prime time week where they should look good here. I mean, the defense looked great to me, but the offense was a little sloppy, but we'll give the Broncos defense credit.
A little bit of credit there, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. So I can see the 49ers have actually owned the Rams. They've won the last 6 matchups, Chris. So
yeah,
in the past, how do you not take? And it looks like the betting percentage is all over the Rams here.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at right now over 70% right now.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So if you got a team getting that much steam, and then the other side here has won 6 straight, people are sleeping on the 49ers here. It's one of those things where if you're going to bet it, I would just take the money line. Like, I don't like that it's 2.5. Who knows? They could win by a point or 2 here. It's one of those tight games. These games are usually tight. You know what I mean? So I would say 49ers money line here, the small spread.
Yeah, when I was looking at this game, I looked at the Garoppolo line. The Garoppolo line didn't look that great, but when I watched him actually play the eye test, he looked pretty good. He was slinging it pretty decent on these little slants to Ayuk, and he looked pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, he looked pretty serviceable. Like you said, 49ers have owned the Rams, and that's a coaching battle. At the end of the day, these coaches have seen each other for a long time, and the 49ers have been on top of it for the most part. I'm right there with you, money line. I'm looking at the money line right now on DraftKings, -130, not terrible. It's -2 right now, -110. But I feel like these kind of defenses, something weird could happen where it could be like a 1 point, maybe a 2 point game where you might push something weird. Just take the money line with the 49ers. The betting public loves the Rams here because no one believes in Garoppolo yet, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm probably going to lock this in. I think this line could go down even more. Maybe you get it.
Yeah, the 49ers. Yeah, they're what are the 49ers? They're 1-2 now. So it's like one of those things where can you see the 49ers, who I think are a legit playoff team? Like the Raiders are a team 0-3. I could see them. I knew they were going to have a bad season, but the 49ers, they don't really have any big injuries, nothing like that. I mean, Lance and Garoppolo, it's not a big difference to me. Lance didn't look that good. So this seems like still the great 49ers team that pretty much they made the Super Bowl 3 years ago, and they almost made the Super Bowl against the Rams. You know what I mean? So the team is solid. They haven't lost any of their big weapons. So they're at home. I can't see them being 1-3 here. This is a spot they got to have here.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think this is once again, we're talking through this once again, when we talk about these games where, Russ and I are on the same side here. I think we talked ourselves into this 49ers play. I think this is a really good spot here. Thank you, Larry. We appreciate it. We appreciate you watching the show, man. This is we love doing this and we love getting you guys winners. So we appreciate that as well. But we got somebody checking in. Says Trent Williams is out.
I saw the up. I forgot that was big too. Yup. But it's just one of those things like you're on the road. That's tough, but now you're at home. I feel like it's not as big of an issue. And I think both teams have the issue of Trent Williams missing. But the Rams missing those cornerbacks, I'm going to check into that before the game starts to make sure those guys are out. Because I think Shanahan is smart. He's going to find those holes if they're going to have weaknesses in that secondary. And also I have a little stat for you. In 5 of the 6 games, where the 49ers have won 6 straight, they've scored over the 21.5 points. That's set for this game. So, you could also look at that, think that they're going to score
over,
because they only scored 10 points last week. So now they're comfortable at home. They can put up some points in this game.
Yeah. That's a great look, Ross. I absolutely love where you break it down with that. That's fantastic. Hey, Larry, thank you again for supporting the show. Remember, spread the word, guys. We want to get to 200. We're only 10 away, guys, from subscribers to 200. We want to get to that 1K point where, give Russ and myself a little change on the side so we can, get the monetization and everything. So we appreciate your guys' support as always. The viewership's been fantastic today. So thank you again, guys, for watching live. Any questions you have, anything at all, man, because we're going to jump into a little college football. Am I right, Russ?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. It's one of those weekends where I kind of felt like this last week. Luckily, we had that Alabama game. I knew that was the body bag game.
Yeah.
That was great.
Do it, Russ.
I know. Yep. Body bag. I know. Yep. Don't have it, man. We couldn't find a body bag game this week. That's why I was disappointed, man.
Well, we might have a little situation. We might be able to find a body bag, but I'll take a
body bag going on here, dude.
Let's hear it.
Oh, all right. You got one, dude? All right.
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right. You going to sweep the leg or what, dude?
Yeah, we got a commercial.
Commercial break. Hold on a second. I got some ads going up here.
What's going on here?
Forget
about it.
I only do it when I'm in the flow, man. Only when I'm in the flow.
I know. We are in the flow right now. But, hey, there is a possibility. Hey, you know what? My man Andrew's coming in with a little question over here. Ole Miss, Kentucky. Kentucky, a team that pretty much has been kind of a little darling over here. They've been a team that's been really solid for the most part. Now they're going to face Lane Kiffin and the boys over here. Let me take a look at it right now because this is a game that really hasn't fallen under my radar for the most part. But let me do a quick dive for you right now. So the spread is 6.5. Ole Miss at home. I think both teams 4-0. This is a big SEC matchup. Kentucky typically a really good running team, grinded out, good defensive team. This is pretty much the staple of Kentucky Wildcats football. And we got, the fire and power that's Ole Miss over here, Russ. You got any first thoughts about this game at all?
I love that you just said it because you think about Kentucky, great running. And I just pulled up these stats.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Kentucky's actually been terrible in the running this year. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, so that's why I love you say something like that. And then we look for that red flag, man. Looks like Kentucky, they're only averaging 2.8 yards per attempt. It's pretty crazy.
Rushing yards is terrible. 91 yards on the season, ranked 121st.
Yeah, that's not good. You're coming into Ole Miss, man. That's not an easy place to play. You got to think that you got to side with the Mississippi then, because that's pretty nuts, man. And Mississippi looks like, I'm looking here, 35-27. They won last week, didn't get the cover. So when the team they didn't play too good against Tulsa because they had this game circled, Kentucky. It's actually their first SEC game. So their first home game against the SEC. Yeah, this is a big
favorite being an undefeated game too. That speaks volumes.
This has got Mississippi written all over.
It does, because you know what? You're looking at the betting percentage at the same time. You got Kentucky getting 67% of the money coming in. Money line 71%. People feeling froggy. They're jumping on Kentucky. Not so fast, Russ. I think this line is speaking our language, and we got to jump on Ole Miss here. I think this is the right spot. Thank you, Angie, for bringing this up. I think I'm going to look a little bit deeper into this. You can find me at Chris Ebom on Twitter. Maybe I'm going to tweet something out about it. I'm personally not going to cover this game on picks wise. I have a couple other games that I like as well that I'm going to talk about that you guys will get the first hear about from before they get released on Wednesday night, Thursday. When I get them published, the articles, I'm going to talk about 2 plays. But I mean, this is an Ole Miss line, and they're getting disrespected at the same time. I think this is an Ole Miss line, Russ.
Yeah, I'm looking at Kentucky last week. They played Northern Illinois, and we saw that Northern Illinois team against Vanderbilt. That defense looked awful.
Yeah.
And this team only had like barely 3 yards a carry for Kentucky against Northern Illinois last week.
Yeah, that's not
and
good.
They were home? I don't think so, man. And they had 26 rushes for 50 yards against Miami, Ohio, man.
Not good.
I don't know what's going on with that team, man. Yeah, I mean, they pulled off that upset against Florida early in the season, but Florida had that big win against Utah, so that was a good spot for them, taking advantage there. But I just feel like you're not going to see Kentucky put up 2 great upset games, 2 straight SEC road games. No way, man. Yeah, Ole Miss is the play there.
Yeah, and they beat Florida at Florida this year, so that was kind of their overachieving play. Then they played Youngstown State in Northern Illinois, and now they're coming to Ole Miss. Like this is an appetite for disaster over here, a recipe, if you will. Thank you, Larry, for tweeting out our show. Let's get us more followers. Hey, Larry, if you are not doing it, which I think you probably are, but I'll just fresh reminder, follow at Tackle the Board on Twitter, follow at Vegas Line Reader, follow at Chris Ebom. Anytime you guys want to message us, I had a guy message me last week about what game was it? It was the USC game, and I really liked the under, and that game was under by like 40-some points. So he got a winner right there. It was part of my betting card because I was ended up breaking it down for him. I'm like, wow, this under is money, and it absolutely crushed. It was like a 10-3, 10-7 first half, and the over-under was like 70 points. It was absolutely outrageous. So, hey, you scratch our back, you scratch ours, that kind of deal. You bring this game to our attention. Russ and I are talking about it. We looked it up. This is definitely an Ole Miss game. We absolutely love it. But, hey, Russ, we're going to get into my games, right?
Definitely, yeah. That's what I was saying. Like, I'm not big on college, so that's why if these guys have questions, that's great because this is a week that I'm not big on. But you got a couple games that you do like, and we'll jump into your first game, Michigan State at Maryland, -8.
Yeah, so Maryland is a 7-point favorite, 7.5-point favorite. The over-under 60.5. Maryland, Michigan State, pretty much coming off Big Ten losses, start their conference play. These guys are going to be battling to not become 0-2. We all know Tua's brother plays for Maryland. He's been there for a couple years now, getting really familiar with Mike Locksley's system for the most part. The results this year have been fantastic. He's already thrown for over 1,000 yards in his first 4 games of the season. Michigan State's pass defense is ranked 102nd in the entire country. This secondary fucking sucks, dude. This secondary is getting burned left and right. Tagovailoa is going to be able to expose the secondary at College Park on Saturday. They're going to be at home. This is the biggest spread that this matchup has ever seen for the Big Ten. This is super imploded. Michigan State started the season 2-2. Their 2 losses when they actually faced good competition, they went to Washington, pretty much got boat raced, and then they kind of made it look respectable at the end, gaining points at the end. And then Minnesota absolutely trounced them. In those 2 losses, the Spartans averaged 17.5 points. If you're telling me they're going to get around 20 points in a game like this, where Maryland's going to be firing away, like on the offense, like with the run game and the pass game, that's not going to be enough here. Maryland's been averaging 37 points a game. This will be.
Or what are you saying?
Oh yeah,
is the censored. All right.
This has triple revenge written all over it, Russ. And this coach has been around for these beatdowns for some time. This is the game where they unleash the passing game, and we're going to see a body bag game here, Russ. This is it right here. A double-digit victory by the Terrapins. I am not impressed by this Spartan team. They've had the upper hand before, covering the last 2 out of 3 meetings. The spread's one of the highest. The sports books are telling you that the Terrapins are going to mess these guys up and put them in a body bag. I think Maryland takes care of business. They cover the spread. They're begging you to take Michigan State. If you look at the previous history, Michigan State should be able to handle this team. Not so fast. Give me the Terrapins at College Park. Testudo, the Terrapin. We're going to get it done here. Terrapins laying 7.5, double-digit body bag victory.
I like that, man. Body bag game right there for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, I noticed with the Maryland spread last week against Michigan, it was like only 17. So I was like, oh, Maryland must be a lot better this year. So and they showed it last week. That
was a closer game than people thought.
Yep, definitely. Yep, they gave everything.
Touchdown loss.
So facing Michigan State, I remember having Washington. I loved that game against Michigan State. They were hitting a bunt. They were scoring at will. So Maryland shouldn't have a problem, like you said, putting up points in this game. So we'll go into your last game here, college football, guys. We got Tulsa plus 9.5 at Cincinnati. And guys, before this is the last game for Chris, if you guys have any more games you have any questions on, don't hesitate to ask us any questions on games you have in mind. So Chris, jump into this game. You got Tulsa plus 9.5, right?
Yep, correct. But actually, Tulsa is home this game. Since he's on the road. We all know Cincinnati Bearcats. Desmond Ridder, he's in the NFL now. They lost their corner safety. I mean, they lost a lot of NFL talent last year. So they're playing very well. Don't get me wrong. They started season 3-1, but they have one of the easiest schedules in the country. I believe they're around 100th for the easiest schedule in the country. So they had a lot of cupcakes. So the quarterback has been playing well. That has stepped in. Ben Bryant, he's thrown for 11 touchdowns, 5 different targets. I mean, the offense has been clicking well, but it's been against really so-so competition. The competition has not been good for them for the most part. But Tulsa, on the other hand, there's been a lot of growth in that quarterback position. Davis Brin, last year, he had 18 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. This is his junior year. He's stepping up right here. He's had some great numbers. I believe he threw for 11 touchdowns and it just like maybe a pick. Okay, so he's been playing really well. He's turned down like the turnovers. They haven't really been there for the most part. The wide receiver core has been fantastic. 3 wide receivers have scored at least 3 touchdowns this season. I mean, he spread the ball around beautifully. And Steven Anderson's finally getting that bell cow role finally at the running back position. He leads the team with 4 rushing touchdowns. This is the lowest spread in the last few years for this matchup. And, people are going to look Cincinnati, powerhouse of the AAC, they should be able to cover this no problem. They don't care. They just see the team's logo. They know they're going to be good and everything. Tulsa's had the harder schedule this year. They faced Mississippi on the road. They faced Northern Illinois. They're looking to seek revenge at home on Saturday night. Tulsa's been profitable in revenge games in the last 2 years as they're 9-1 against the spread in those revenge games. They have triple revenge this week against Cincinnati. I love Tulsa to cover this game. I was hoping to get 10.5. But I will be more than happy to get 9.5. So I'm with the Golden Hurricane over here. I think this is a great spot where the team has been playing outstanding, and they have had tougher competition. They faced an SEC opponent. I mean, Cincinnati really hasn't really played anybody this year. They played Indiana, Big Wolf. That's not anything to cry home about. Give me the Golden Hurricane getting almost 10 points here.
Yeah, Cincinnati, they haven't impressed me. And they get into a lot of these close games throughout the beginning of the game. They somehow just pull away at the end. This could be one of those games on the road where they stay close and don't pull away, have a little sloppy game. Everyone's got one of those sloppy games too, because I remember watching the Miami-Ohio game. That game was close the whole way. So definitely not killing teams like they used to, but they've been playing a lot of weak competition lately with Indiana, Miami, Ohio, Kennesaw State. Well, I like when they play 3 straight cupcakes and then go on the road. They could be sleeping here in this matchup. So that's
a team that they've dominated in years past, and they're kind of smelling themselves a little bit. This is a great spot. You got a junior quarterback that's playing the best ball of his life right now that really has, fixed the turnover problem that he had last year. He's been really great, and he's been spreading it around. This quarterback is seasoned and primed for this year, and I think 9.5 is plenty. There might even be an outright dog that might win this. I mean, that's how much I really like Tulsa this week. I mean, if you want to sprinkle a little bit, you feel froggy, you want to leave, maybe take the Golden Hurricane on the money line. But you know what? 9.5, you might not have to sweat it as much. But Brent's checking in. Michigan at Iowa. Currum is great, but Iowa's scary at home against good teams. We know that Iowa has problems scoring. I mean, if we look at what Iowa has done of late, okay, they played Rutgers, they scored 27. Nevada is not that good. They scored 27. But then they played Iowa State. You know, those are always low-scoring games, 7-10. Their quarterback really has never really been that good. It's been more of a running kind of offense. The over-under is currently at 42. I think they want to control the tempo at the end of the day, Russ. I think this is something we have to look at. I think the under is the right play here. 42. I mean, Michigan has put up millions of points against terrible teams. Talk about a team that scheduled the cupcake of all cupcake schedules. I mean, they're not.
I can't even get a read on Michigan too, because look who they play: Colorado State, Hawaii, Connecticut were the first three
terrible teams.
Yeah, then
Hawaii's one of the worst teams in the country.
Yeah, this is a tough one because then they got Maryland, who they gave up. They put up 34 points against, but Maryland isn't known for their defense. You know what I mean?
But they scored 20. They almost scored 30 points themselves, Maryland.
This is that's a tough game right there. I mean, Iowa, I could see what he's saying there, that they play great defense and everything. So they could keep it close, I guess. If Michigan, I could see like something like Michigan plays bad, and even if they win 20-10 or something, or 20-13, something ugly, I think Iowa could probably cover that game.
Exactly my point. 126 in strength of schedule. I mean, how high can you go with the teams? 126. I mean, you look at who they played in their non-conference, and then they're number 4 in the country. I just think, I mean, the 10.5. I mean, you know,
it's a little important too. You got Michigan averaging 50 points per game, so you might be getting a little more value there with the Iowa. You know.
Yeah, you could be, but I'll lean towards more of the under. But hey, guys, that'll do it. That's Tackle Aboard. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for spreading the word. We appreciate it. We want to get to 200, like either today or tomorrow, guys. Let's get it done. We got people watching. Tell your buddy, tell whoever to subscribe, watch the show. We had great viewership last week. We had great viewership this week for the live show, which I'm very happy about. I know Russ is as well. That will do it. I have write-ups coming up for Picks-wise. Thank you, Brent. We appreciate it. We will definitely see you next week. You can always tune in, putting your 2 cents and, asking your questions. We appreciate that as always. I have 4 write-ups coming up. You guys that watch the show, before I put the write-up out, I gave you the 2 plays, but I will also have totals on the game as well that I would like, so tune in for those. You can follow me at Chris Ebom. I will also have 2 other write-ups as well that will be coming out Wednesday night, Thursday, give or take for picks-wise. But that's Russ Reese. He's the Vegas line reader. He has his plays, Russ. What do you got in store for this week?
Feeling good. Actually, all my big VIP plays, I'm 7-1 in the NFL, and I definitely feel good about this weekend too. So guys, don't hesitate to contact me at Vegas Line Reader. Definitely be happy to tell you guys who I got this weekend for the big plays. And guys, if you're watching this video, we're giving out the lanes, getting you guys on the right side. Even if you're watching this for a little bit, just give us a like, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to be doing this every week, guys, giving you guys information, helping you out. And we appreciate all the questions you guys watching live the whole time. We appreciate that. And feeling good this weekend. Let's have another great weekend, Chris.
Absolutely, man. Russ and myself, 20 years plus experience each doing this. We've taken our bumps, and we've learned from them. And you guys are reaping the benefits at the end of the day. Whether you're new or you've been watching the last couple of years, this is, you're reaping the benefits. We've taken these bumps. We've learned from our mistakes. And we've been profitable with it. I can speak for myself. I haven't had a losing week this year, pretty much in football, combined with college and NFL. You can follow me at Chris Ebom. And if you have BetStamp, you could see my track record. I posted pretty much every week, winning the whole season. So we're going to keep it going, Russ. And I know you're doing great as well, as you talked about before. So you watching the show, you liking the leans, you are making money. So we appreciate that. All we ask, Spread the word so we get more subscribers, more likes. So then we get a little chain, a little coin thrown our way down the road. We got to get to that 1,000 mark. That's the goal.
No, let's do it, man. Let's have a great week out.
All right, man. Let's rise and fire. Let's go win that money.
Let's go.